what's up, boxing fans? This is the Rope-A-Dope Report. I'm your host, Chris Carlson. This is a prediction video for the Paul Williams Erislandy Lara fight. We did have Lou DeCubas Jr. on. If you want to check that out, it's available on ropeadoperadio.com right now. He is Erislandy Lara's manager. He talked, how the camp's going and whatnot. So I'm really excited about this fight. Erislandy Lara is a really interesting fighter. He's coming off a draw. He's an undefeated fighter. He's definitely got a lot of skill. Got some hand speed as a southpaw. Really interesting fighter. Good young Cuban fighter. Paul Williams obviously has a great career. The two guys he's lost to, he's also beat them. I think he's 39-2 now or something like that. Obviously his last fight. Hold on, real quick. Alright, sorry. Just had to close that. Anyway, where was I? Paul Williams, coming off his last fight, second round concussion punch with the eyes open. Knockout of the year last year. How will he respond? That's the key. I think this matchup is good for him. Is Erislandy a chump? Is he a walkover? No. But there are some deficiencies that Lara has that fits right in with what Paul Williams is trying to do. Now, it'll be interesting to see, throughout the time, and actually if you look at the number of fights that Lara's fought, he's actually fought some pretty decent competition considering how many fights he has. A lot of guys before their 15th or 20th fight don't really fight anybody. Whereas he's fought at least some good, solid, veteran-type guys. Look at his resume. He's definitely fought some tough guys, you know what I mean? His last fight was with a tough guy, a tough veteran-type fighter, Molina. He got a draw. The thing about Lara is I think he'll come out a little bit different. I think he'll come out pumping the jab. I think he's going to be a little bit more active. And I also think that his movement and boxing ability and counter ability is going to be put to the test because his problem is the earmuffs. He likes to just give rounds away or chunks of rounds away with the earmuffs and just block, and then try to get off. But the problem is, and I don't know if in his last fight, Molina, if he just underestimated or not, or he was on a hot streak because he had knocked out. He scored a huge knockout on the undercard of the Marquez Catsitas in November around Thanksgiving. I was there. It was the undercard, off-TV undercard. Huge knockout. Funny story, my brother was texting somebody, and he's like, oh, he looks up, he's like, oh, I missed the knockout. It's one of those things that he could have just mentally not been there. You know what I mean? But he has shown that weakness in his other fights, too. Putting up the earmuffs and not returning fire. And when if you look at the Winky Wright fight, and Winky is more of a stationary fighter than Lara can be. I think Lara's obviously going to have to use lateral movement and his feet in general. And like I said, counter. He's going to have to counter him. Because you got to counter Paul Williams to calm him down. You know what I mean? So the problem is, if you look at the Winky fight, putting the guard up and just the straight up earmuffs type thing, Winky can throw a good jab off that. And Lara's going to have to throw his jab, but if he's just going to sit up there and get the earmuffs going and just let Paul Williams just volume him to death, it may be a flashback and a replay of Winky versus Paul Williams. You know what I mean? But like I said, I think that in the fight that'll happen for Erislandy Lara, I think he'll be stuck in the ropes at some point going like this, and they'll be talking about it. Hey, this is what he does. But I think he's going to try to be on the move more. And for Lara, like I said, he's going to have to stick and move and throw with them at some point. The volume, the power, he does have plenty of power, Paul Williams as well. He's got plenty of pop at least. Maybe he doesn't have the one-punch power, but he definitely will wear you down. In the volume and the angles are just really intense, especially for someone that's just going to put up the earmuffs and sit there and get hit. He will find spots. He will keep it going. That's just the way he goes. That's just the way he is. Now, he also can be countered. He also doesn't use his height and he leans in. When he throws his jabs, sometimes he doubles and triples up his jabs. I should go like this because he's a southpaw. But, sometimes he just gets lazy with his jab, and it's really easy to counter. So we all know Paul Williams is there to be countered all day long. And his defense, he just doesn't worry about it. Now, if you look at the fight with Cintrone, he did show a little patience early in that fight and then looked like he was going to put it on him. So let's see the first round or two. He may not come out and just try to be the Punisher and just throw 80, 100 punches, but at some point that's what he does. So I look for this to be a good fight. If Lara is on the move and uses his counter punch, if he can counter Paul, he can win this fight. Also, if you hit Paul with a clean punch, will he have flashbacks of the knockout? It's been a while. It's been a fair amount of time, but still, you never really know when someone gets concussion punch with their eyes open and lands like this. You know what I mean? You just never know how they're going to react. You just never know. So my guess is Paul Williams is going to take it easy in the first round or two, like he did against Cintrone, and then he's going to get in and get it going. That's how he knows. He knows to throw punches and go, and he likes to give the crowd, what they deserve. So I think it's going to be a fun fight. It's a good undercard as well. But I'm going to go with Paul Williams, and I'm going to go with Paul Williams by decision. I think he'll just, if there's a KO, I believe it'll be more like a TKO. But I feel like there's going to be a lot of back and forth. There's going to be a lot of great exchanges. And we're going to find out two major things. Is Paul Williams recovered from the just nasty KO at the hands of Sergio Martinez? Or is Erislandy Lara ready to step up and live up to some of this potential that's been talked about with him? You got to give both these guys credit, because to take on Paul Williams after coming off a draw, that's great for Erislandy Lara. Obviously, he's catching him at a good time possibly too. So you never really know. And Paul Williams taking on a young undefeated fighter with skill. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I got Paul the Punisher Williams to win it by a decision, maybe late TKO. Peace. TKO, I just said TKO.